Okay, Bismillah, alhamdulillah. So now we're going to go into the fifth phrase, which is known as Nasb, Mansoob. And this one's very similar to Harfu Jar. So we said there's 5 phrases in Arabic. Phrase meaning an incomplete word, also known as a fragment. And we said there was Mawsoof Sifa, which is a descriptive phrase. And it's made up of 2 parts. It's the word being described and a description of it. Then we said there was Mudaf ilayh, which is an associative phrase where you have the word being associated, then the word it's being associated to. Then after we talked about Jar Majrur, which is where you have a Harfu Jar, which is a word, a small word that forces the word coming directly after it, right after it, into a state of Jar, which is usually represented by a Kasra. And then after that we spoke about Ismu Ishara Mushara Ilay, which is known as a pointing phrase. And basically what you have is first a pointing word, such as Hada, which means this, which is referring to something that's close, and then Dhalika, which is referring to something that is far away, meaning that. And directly after that you have a word starting with Al, and that would be a pointing phrase. It would literally be translated as this book, or this car, or that star, and so forth. Now we're going to go on to the fifth and final phrase, which is known as Nasib Mansoob, and it works very similar to Harfu Jar. So let's just do some terminology check here. So Mansoob, the literal meaning of Mansoob is a noun that is in the state of Jar, right? Just like the literal meaning of Majrur is a noun that is in the state of Jar, right? Oh, okay. I see why you corrected me. My mistake. So for Mansoob, the literal meaning of Mansoob is a noun that is in the state of Nasb. My mistake. I know I said Jar just now. And then for Majrur, it is a noun that is in the state of Jar, right? Harfu Nasb is a particular harf, which we said was a small word that has an impact on a noun, that forces a word appearing after it to go into Nasb. So this is the setup. You usually have Harfu Nasb and then a word being forced into Mansoob. But the interesting thing that one should note is that there could be multiple words in between. So in this example here, it says Inna Allaha. There could be multiple words in between it. You're just going to have to try and track down that word that has a fatha on it, which is a sign that a word is in Nasb, right? Unless it's fixed, then it might be in another state, and you're just going to have to know context. But when you see that fatha, depending, even if there's multiple words in between, you'll be able to tell that it's the word being affected by the harfu nasb, which is known as mansoob. And this is known as a nasb mansoob phrase, made up of 2 parts, the harfu nasb, and then finally the mansoob. You could look at it as the agent and then its victim, right? The word that it's going after, trying to track down and then change. Okay? So, and we can also look at it another way and say that they can tolerate long distance relationships, so there could be multiple words in between, while something such as harfu jar can't tolerate long distance relationships. They're like joined together at the hip, right? So this is just a representation of it. You could have the harfu nasb and then word, and then the mansoob, which is the noun being put into a state of nasb because of the harfu nasb. We couldn't think of any examples on this. To be honest, I haven't really studied this one in depth. So inshallah ta'ala, when we go over in class, we'll be able to see more of it. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them in total, right? And it goes inna, anna, ka'anna, bi'anna, li'anna, layta, la'alla, lakinna. So if you see any of these, you know it's a harfu nasb. It's going to be having an effect on a word that's either coming directly after it or a couple words down. And we usually are able to tell that by looking out for the fatha that tells us it's in a state of nasb. And yeah, that's harfu nasb. A nasb mansoob phrase. So we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of practice involving this in a bit after we review all the phrases. Okay, Cam. Assalamu alaikum.